At least here in the States, suicide is up, drug abuse is up, alcohol abuse is up. All of these things are on the rise. And when you brought up the thing about loneliness, they're getting on the internet, and it's like, great, they'll look, I've got 5,000 friends or whatever, and you really don't. You have 5,000 people that you can communicate with through social media, but that isn't necessarily a friend and the person that you're going to rely on or really talk about things that are intimate or that are vulnerable. So, at this time, and as this pace increases, because as we know, our pace is increasing, the constant amount of information is increasing. What are some of the recommendations that you would give that people can do on how they can handle the increase in pace and the information overload?
I just want to pick up on your point about addiction, because I wrote in my 4th book that addiction is the new big illness. It's the new plague. Addiction, and it can be addicted to being busy. It can be addicted to drugs or drink or gambling or just being online. I think addiction is a massive, massive problem today. So what do we do about it? Well, I've got put in there a number of strategies, but I think mindfulness, stop it. We're all going to regret not having slowed down, just sitting under a tree, just stopping. But what I want people to do is go into the future, find the best of the future and narrow it down. Absolutely. What we do is narrow down your future. Now, years ago on New Year's Eve, I'd write a long list of ideas and things I want to do for the following year, all my resolutions. Now it's more what I'm not going to do. So it's almost, we need to cut back. We need to learn to say no. We need to be okay not answering the phone, not answering all them pings on the phone, ignoring the emails. I think we've got to learn to just stop, sit under a tree. But with FLP, by narrowing down what you're going to do, you talk to people and say, what are your plans? And they'll just go, oh, well, I've got to write a book and I'm going to go on this course, then I'm going to go on that course, then I've got to do my blog, then I've got this. You go, okay. And I used to do this. It'd all be laid out, all these things. And one day I turned it around that way and went, what's the one thing I need to work on now? One of the best books I've read in the last 10 years is Gary Keller, The One Thing.
Oh, The One Thing?
Yeah, Gary Keller. It's one, I'm plugging somebody else's book here, but I tell you, that book stopped me in my tracks. I've got a copy up there and the pages are falling out. I go back to it and it just stops you doing so much. You're trying to see too many people, talk to many people, please too many people. It's about stop, find out your absolute best future and what's the one thing you need to do right now. Because you just worry about the next step. And once you've got the next step, worry about the next step. Don't try and do everything, just stop. And I'm the most guilty at this. I work stupid hours. And
I might have you on that one. I just might have you. And it's funny because I use the analogy that comes from the old variety show. So I'm of the age that I remember the old variety shows, and I call it spinning pie plates. And if you remember the person on the variety show, he'd start at one end of the stage and he sets a pie plate up on a pin and he spins it. And then he has about 20 of them and he goes down the line. And when he gets to the 20th one, that first one is starting to wobble. And he runs back and spins that one. And he's running faster and faster and faster because if he stops at any moment, they all fall.
Yeah.
So my analogy of what I've tried to do after getting into that situation is to intentionally set some of the pie plates off and just set it off and kind of do what you're saying is which one of these are the most important or which ones do I need to put the majority of my time into. So I couldn't agree with you more.
Once you narrow down your future and you know what it is, you find that most things you're looking at you don't really need. Most of it you don't. How much? And I bet a lot of your listeners are doing things they don't want to do, but they're pleasing people. And it's a bad, And I know girls are worse than this than boys. The amount of times I've learned to say to people, oh, can I get back to you? I need to check my diary. The amount of times I've gone, yeah, I'll drive you to Scotland or whatever. You know, you just go, why did I do that? You know, we automatically say yes. And Warren Buffett said a little while ago, successful people say no more often.